strap into the party wagon and hold on to your pizza. Hey everybody, welcome back to Epic Tales from the Sewers. I'm your host, Justin, here with my co-host, Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Doing all right. How you doing today, Justin?
Good, man. Good. Good to see you. Good to see your Street Sharks shirt there. Yeah, representing. So we have some very special guests today. We have Chris and Randy from Granite State Comic Con. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Hey, no problem. Hey, thanks for having us.
It seems like everything that I hear about this show, like everybody's so excited that this is like the mecca for Turtles fans. You know, any truth to that? Is this like the place you have to go if you're a Turtles fan?
It's quickly becoming that. In 2019, well, the bonus is the Turtles were created here in New Hampshire, so Dover, New Hampshire. So it's I think Kevin and Cordia said it's like the hometown show. So and the Turtles debuted at a comic book show in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, almost 40 years ago. So it's becoming a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I like New Hampshire. You don't have to pay for bottle deposits up there.
Yeah, that's
the silliest reason to like the place, but you know,
sure.
New Hampshire's great. You know, it's a great place to stop for gas on your way up to Maine. So,
yes, it is. Yeah, and you can hit the liquor stores too on the highway.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, right off the highway. Yeah. See, I'm originally from Connecticut, so I have some perspective here. You know, we had blue laws, so we couldn't get alcohol after 8 o'clock, or we couldn't get it on Sundays. So what we would have to do is we would just go straight up to Longmeadow, Mass, which was like right there. Or if we couldn't get anything there, sometimes we'd go straight through to New Hampshire, so we could buy like a 175 or a handle of like Jack or something. So, yeah, I know that doesn't speak well of me to any of our children listeners, but sorry guys. You know, sometimes adults like the booze.
Yeah.
So. And why are you listening to this anyway? You know, I don't know. I don't know why they would be. So, you know.
More on the parents. That's definitely on the parents.
Yeah. Let me put a discllaimer at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Yes,
I would.
Yep.
So what's going on this year for guests that you have coming? What kind of guests? And it doesn't even have to be turtle guests. It could be literally anybody who's coming.
Okay. So yeah, like you said, it kind of so in 2019 was the first time we had Kevin up, and when Kevin comes to town, it becomes like an event. You know, so like 2019, we brought in the original voice cast from the 80s cartoon. So we kind of set the bar high for ourselves that year. So this year we decided to try and outdo ourselves. So we have Kevin's coming back, Ben's here, Mateus.
Mateus Santaluco
coming up.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Mateus is coming up.
Yep. Ciro Nielli.
So yeah, with Ciro Nielli. Wow.
This is like Wayne stock right now. I'm like, who else?
Turtle stock.
Freddie Williams.
Jim Lawson.
Steve Levine. Tom Waltz.
Yep. We might have a few more surprises dropping. So like when all that happens, we get a nice turnout. So we got today we announced the original negatives for issue 1 are going to be on display at the show.
Thanks,
so
Rich.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Rich.
Yes, we have like, I'm calling it Turtle Town because there's so much going on. And Judith Hogue is going to be here as well. Greg Sipes, who was on the 2012 cartoon, will be here. So
did you guys know he was on Deadwood?
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, who is that kid? I'm like, dude, it's Mikey and Beast Boy.
Yep.
Nice.
He has some live action creds.
Yep. So, and then in addition to Turtle stuff, we have 3 cast members from Hocus Pocus, because that's pretty big this year. We have Doug Jones, who does if you see him if you see like a weird, tall, skinny creature in a movie, that's probably Doug Jones.
Yeah, he played Bill in that movie.
Yep.
And that was filmed not too far away from you guys too. So, and I know the new one has just been filmed in the Salem, Massachusetts area. So, another New England classic.
Yeah, and those guys are doing a Salem tour before the show. So I think that's cool. Thursday or Friday. I gotta check my schedule, but they're gonna go and you go on a bus tour with them, and you visit the places, the locations where they filmed, and get some lunch and autographs and stuff. So that's a really cool add-on. So.
Yeah, Doug Jones. I mean, he was the Silver Surfer body model too in the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Yeah, so he's done everything.
Million things.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Between that and I mean, he played Abe in both of the Hellboy films. Yeah. So and they actually let him use his voice in the second one. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, just even just getting the Turtles people, and then you're adding on to it. You're like Doug Jones and Judith Hoag. I'm like, this is that's like a doorbuster right there. Damn.
Oh yeah, and we've got more. We have Janet Varney, who was the voice of Korra on Legend of Korra and Avatar. Mick Foley from the WWE.
Oh gosh.
Yes, and so
Cactus Jack.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
both of them and the original Turtles were all at C2E2, and I was actually just there yesterday. So and we saw Janet and we saw Mick. I love Mick. He's one of my all-time favorites. Mm-hmm. I met him at the Connecticut Post Mall, and I couldn't even tell you when it was, but I've got a little Polaroid, and he signed my Mankind comic. He is just the greatest guy with fans.
And what's funny is he's up here all the time.
Yeah, he's a Mass guy, isn't he?
I think he was from Jersey originally.
Oh, Jersey. Okay.
His family would come up to Santa's Village every year. Mm-hmm. So every year he's up here. So this is the first time he's done a con or a signing in New Hampshire, but he's up here. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Man, so with all these guys getting all this stuff together, how long does it take to put together a show like this?
A year plus. Yeah. We're already working on next year. Yeah. Because the problem we faced this year with so much happening that the hotel where we have the convention, we've got it jam packed. We're using every available space to fit stuff in, and this year we've hit our capacity this year. So
wow. So I know hotels will actually hold out about 10% of their rooms usually too. So maybe you guys are dipping into that too.
Yeah, I mean if for hotel rooms it sold out back in March. Yeah, which was unheard of. So we've got a lot of options, but yeah, we're already planning next year just so because we want to continue to grow. So
yeah, and Eric was mentioning this that next year is going to be the 40th anniversary.
No, I think it's the next.
That's 24.
Oh, 24. Okay, because I thought we were in 23. Okay, so in 2 years.
It's that pandemic time.
This year did fly by.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, we just went out here because I'm in Illinois now, and we just had Fan Expo, and then 2 weeks later C2E2 because they had to switch it back to whatever time, and next year it's going to be in March and then April. But it's crazy. It's wow, these cons are hitting boom, boom, boom. You know, it's funny too because it's like you said with Janet Varney. It's she's just working to the next con and all that. So but man, her line was out the door. It was crazy because she was next to Billy D. Williams and all that, who you'd think would be crazy, but he was charging $250 a pop for a picture. So it was not as it's like when William Shatner comes in, and then people are like, "Yeah, I don't want to pay that much for him. I think I'll go see the kid that's in Demon Slayer."
I will 100% pay to get that William Shatner picture.
Well, you might not. I don't know. I'll tell you, he had
Rhode Island.
I love Shatner and all that, but I'm just saying it's really probably discouraging when he looks out and sees Jason David Frank's line going out and around the corner. It's dude, the Green Power Ranger is totally owning you. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's pretty interesting. So do you have any local guys that are coming, maybe some local artists, local creators? I know probably Steve Levine's local and Jim.
Yeah. And Ben
Bishop.
Ben's been coming to the show for I don't know 10 years at least.
Oh wow!
Before he broke in, he did some covers for us back in the day because he did one of his retailing covers. So it was issue 55 of the Turtles.
Yep, issue 55 was the first one he did.
So then he started doing some interconnected stuff for us, and then it's next thing you know, he's like, "Hey, listen, I'm doing this thing with Kevin Eastman," and I'm like, "What?" Because he was a huge turtle guy, and I'm like, "Man, you're living the dream." And then then it just keeps going up and up and up for that dude. And so
Guys, the limit for him, man. I'm telling you.
He's got a good mind. I mean, if you listen to our show, it kind of reads like the Ben Bishop fan club. But I mean, like realistically, he's a smart, talented artist that understands marketing, and he understands how to, get the most out of what he's doing. Like, oh, hey, here, it's a skateboard deck. Like, what? Here's a medal of me sticking my head out of a curtain called a beehole. Like, what? It's like...
Yeah, I mean, he's got the hustle. So, I mean, he's working on multiple books at a time, which is, so.
I tell him that all the time. I'm like, Ben.
Hey, Randy over here cringing. He's like,
to piggyback off what you just said, Justin, I've told Eric before, I say it all the time. Ben legitimately has made and lived the blueprint for, just grinding your way there, like doing the work in the industry. And he did. I remember when the Bish kids or the Bish Club was under 30 people and it's 300 and growing.
It doesn't even seem like it's that big. It's so funny. Yeah.
I don't know who else we got.
We got Trevor Von Eden. Super hyped about that.
Yep. Co-creator of Black Lightning.
He was 16 when he created Black Lightning.
Yeah.
Wow, from Milestone Comics back in the day?
DC I know it's a DC property now. Yeah. I'm not sure what it was then.
Yeah, he predated Milestone.
Yeah, because it was back with Dwayne McDuffie. I'm a huge Dwayne McDuffie guy. So
nice.
That is really awesome. That's so cool. Yeah. I know. I'm again from Connecticut, so it's like we used to have so many artists and all that, like living in town. Like I was one town away from like Jim Aparo, and I know like Jeff Loeb and stuff like that. Are you pulling in any like maybe DC or Marvel talent from the area?
Yeah, who we got?
Well, Scott Hanna's not. He's coming, but he's not from the area per se. Yeah, more towards New York and Jersey, at least for some of those.
We draw like Northeast, I would say.
Yeah. So we got Ryan Brown.
Nice.
From Zombie
You're
Pets.
talking about the original Ryan Brown, right? Like not
the Turtles Ryan Brown.
Okay.
Ryan Brown, he was on Zombie Pets.
The British Ryan Brown.
I don't think he's British.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
There's
So there's three.
There's like four of them out there.
The other Ryan Brown.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The God Hates Astronauts
Ryan Brown.
Ryan Brown.
Yes.
No.
Okay. All right then.
No, not the same Ryan Brown.
No, not that Ryan Brown. All right.
Yes.
He's gonna hate me. He's gonna hate me.
Oh man, we are so sorry, Ryan. I
know
will
him from
say
Zombie Pets. That's what I know him from.
There's so many talented Ryan Browns out there.
Yep.
Chris Ivey.
Yeah.
That's another one.
We have another couple of local guys, Joe Schmalke and Rich Woodall.
Yep.
They have their own imprint at Scout Comics, Black Caravan, and their book Electric Black got picked up by the folks that do the Rick and Morty cartoon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Scout's great. Scout's got some great titles.
Yeah, they do a lot of good stuff.
What about like publishers? Do you get like maybe like a Source Point Press or Valiant? I don't know if Valiant's doing anything right now, but
not sure they had a bunch of layoffs. They just had a bunch of layoffs, so we'll know we'll hopefully hear what's happening with Valiant soon. We haven't had any publishers just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in the near future. So,
to be honest with you, I'm kind of shocked that IDW doesn't come out and do this one with, especially with the San Diego Comic Con where they had. I mean, obviously they're out there with whole creators, and with this being such a huge thing for the Turtles, I'm surprised they don't capitalize on that being out there too.
Maybe we'll need to get them out of here for the 40th in a few years.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have their creative editor Tom, so
when Tom's here, we'll talk to him.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
you might know somebody.
Yeah,
you might.
Yeah.
What's the exclusive? Do you guys have any exclusive like comic covers or posters or T-shirts, stuff like that? What kind of stuff can you think that people will be interested in getting when they come to see you guys up there?
For covers, we're doing the 132 for the ongoing. It comes out in the beginning of September, so as long as they don't do another delay, that'll be there at the con.
Yep.
And it'll only be available at the con.
Wow.
Leftovers will go online, but we don't really anticipate having any.
And the artwork on the cover is Freddie Williams.
Yep, Freddie Williams and Jesse, and he's gonna. I hope I don't butcher the last name. I think it's Heagy, Heagy. He did the colors on it.
Yeah.
So Freddie and him killed it.
Yep. So Freddie will be in the house if you want to get that signed.
And
CBC witnessed.
Yep. Freddie's the best.
We'll be there doing witnessings as well. Someone will be over with Kevin. Obviously, there will be the group of the usuals: David, Chris. Yep. I'll be off over with at our table. So you'll see me floating around witnessing as well, doing that. So
are you guys going to have Whatnot there? Because I noticed that they've been a big presence at cons lately, and they've been bringing in a lot of talent with them. We just got out of C2E2, and they had like 5 or 6 people I didn't even think were announced. And I was like, oh, wow. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm here with Whatnot. I'm like, I had no idea.
I'm not sure if they're just doing the bigger cons right now, but it's something.
This is a big con, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a big deal for us.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean,
it sounds bigger than C2E2 if you're asking me. So
yeah, I mean, I know San Diego Comic Con is pretty big, but I think this is going to be a big East Coast one right here, especially for the TMNT fans as well. You know?
And it's before New York City, so I mean, that's a huge draw just to have like Judith Hogue and all that. That's huge.
Yeah. So like the thing is, the whole Last Ronin team was together at San Diego, but that's San Diego. It's nuts. There's 1 million people. Maybe you get like 2 seconds with the guys or whatever, but like at our show, it's more intimate. So you're going to get to talk to everybody and interact rather than just be like, all right, sign your book, moving on.
Bye bye.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yep.
What do you think the likelihood that Pete would show up? That Pete Laird would show up? 0. Okay, he's not interested. So.
Yeah.
Would you give him free passes if he was going to show?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pete walking up at all. I'd just be like, he's
see this man.
Here's my pass.
I would pay for his table myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've invited him, but he's retired.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a shame. I'd love to see Pete, man, meet him. I've never got a chance to meet. I meet Kevin twice. But Pete, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, he's very, secretive, I guess you could say.
Rightfully so. I've heard he's into pottery right now, and I used to love the back of the comics where they had like the Tales of the TMNT, and it's like, here's Peter Laird on his Segway. He's quite the Segway enthusiast and all that. And I'm like, the little slice of life that you get of like just his sphere. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that begs the question: who's the dream guest? If you guys could get and nail just one guest, who would be like the biggest one that you could get?
Are we talking
live?
Turtles in general.
It could be anyone. You could tell me Mark Hamill. I'm like, it could be literally anybody.
Literally anybody.
I know who I want.
Yeah.
I know who I want to see.
Who would that be?
I want to see. It's more of a trio. I want to see Tom Taylor, Scott Snyder, and Greg Capullo. Those are the 3 I would love to meet.
Nice.
Of all time.
Greg's super nice, dude. Like, and it's funny too because you look at him and you wouldn't think so. We just met him at the Fan Expo, and he did a bumper for our podcast. I was like, "What? Awesome!" And then he's like, "Really? You want me to say the Dark Knight?" I was like, "Yes." So he did it. I'm like, "Okay, cool." But yeah, I am with you. So you must be a huge Batman fan then, Randy. So I'm guessing
just a DC guy.
Oh, just DC. Yeah. Oh, you're in good company then. I'm like Booster. I have a whole shrine to Booster Gold and Blue Beetle over there. So, how about you, Chris? Who would be your go-to?
So one of the things I've been thinking about lately is like we lost like a lot of prominent comic creators this year. So like Neil Adams and Tim Sale, George Perez. So I've been trying to think about who's kind of on my bucket list of guests to get, people that I want to meet and have to the con. So I've been working on that. Probably tops of my list is Chris Claremont because I'm a big X-Men fan. So yeah. So
isn't he a New York guy? I mean, he was just here too. Yeah. We stopped by his table yesterday. He did a whole panel. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but he did a panel.
Yeah, I heard.
But yeah, you heard about it. Yeah, I think everybody heard about it. Chris is awesome, and like in terms of like just meeting him and talking to him, it's equally fun to talk to him and to have a conversation with him than to see him go off on somebody for being a dumbass too. right? Like if someone comes off and he's like, "What the heck is this?" Like maybe some like jerk with like a whole folder full of books to get signed, like cuts off a little kid. Chris will light him up, and he has a temperament. It is just, it's kind of a pleasure to watch and just sit back and be like, this man, it's just great. I had a 20-minute conversation with him about how they could have made Magnum PI a better show. I'm like, this is awesome. You know, like I would have paid for this conversation. You know, it was fun. I'm with you though. I think that would be fantastic. And it seems like we're seeing a lot more of these guys kind of come out of retirement. Like the Turtles voices were saying that up until 10 years ago, they didn't do this at all. And it was just one thing where Townsend Coleman got them together, and he said, "Hey, let's get together and do this." And now they're going all the time. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was great to have them.
Yeah, they were just the nicest guys. And one of the cool things we had. So we have a local group. They started off doing like pirate cosplay and props and stuff, and they built like, you know, just different sets and scenes, and they built a sewer lair.
Giant.
Yes. It was like, it was pretty big. Yeah. And, you know, you got to sit down on the couch and there was props and stuff and everything in there. So like those guys were taking pictures in there with Kevin, and, you know, it was really neat. So they're great. So, you know,
they come back.
Eventually I'm sure they're going to come back, because my business partner works with them. He's one of their agents. So he, you know, anytime we want to get them, I can just send them a text. So
did either of you guys get to catch that new movie that just came out, The Rise of the TMT?
I have not. It's on Netflix.
I have not. I've heard nothing but, you know, decent things. I didn't watch the whole entirety of the series.
I didn't. I've seen like 2 episodes of the series, so
I'll give it another chance and then see how it is.
The reason I mention this is because Rob Paulson is the voice of the head of the Foot Clan, and he's the voice director for the film.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's cool.
Rob's a great guy.
Yeah, super
nice. I can't, like, we had Townsend Coleman on this show like back in 2020. You know, we're just starting out. I think it's like our 8th episode or something like that. And it's like, I just go to see him on Saturday, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? You know, I sent you a shirt, all this." Oh my God, Justin! I kid you not. You know, like, went out of his way to make it like this big deal about how he was on the podcast and stuff like that. And I'm like, he didn't have to do that or say hi or anything. And I'm like, wow, salt of the earth people they all are. It was just, you should get them for the 40th anniversary. So
I've got another thing I'm working on. So something I was hoping to get done for this year, but it didn't quite pan out. But something equally as big. So,
well, I mean, you're with the team that you have, like the last Ronin team. I mean, that is so relevant. You know, it just happened. It's still happening. You know, it's like, what are we, like less than 2 months out from getting the trade paperback, and 2 months before that, we just got issue 5. So it's still fresh in everybody's memories, and that's the team everybody's going to want to see.
Yeah.
So I'm fully with you. I'm jealous that I can't go.
Oh, you can't come?
No, I got to get married this year. So she's not listening, right? No, and because of that, it's like I could only apparently do like so many cons and all that.
Well, you better start saving up, because we might have to be going to the next couple cons.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Up there. That's for sure. Especially the 40th. I mean, that's.
We've kind of become unofficial, like Turtle Con. Yeah, you know, so like it's gonna be something we're gonna carry over, you know, pretty much annually now. So
that's awesome.
Because even though Kevin wasn't here last year, we had a pretty good guest list. Pretty
last year.
Still people traveling, and we got people traveling all over the place for this thing. I had somebody messaged me through Instagram the other day, like, "Hey, what days are Kevin gonna be there?" I'm like, "He's gonna be here Saturday and Sunday," you know. And he's like, "Cool, I'm coming from Nicaragua up for the con." And I'm like, "Really? You're coming up here? All right, cool."
Yeah, and people from Canada coming?
Probably. I mean, it's only a few hours from the border.
I know where you're going with this. Hey, Eric, who would you want to see from Canada?
I would love to see Mike Ruth. That's my that's I'm really really close to Mike Ruth, and he does amazing. To me, does amazing work. I like to see him go there. I mean, just for him as an artist, he has grown so much, and he just loves the TMNT. He's been following this whole Ronin thing since '87, so it's just,
so Eric knows. Papa Sebo's and myself, we have a few tables, and we're bringing Mike for one of our tables, so he'll be there.
Woo!
That's awesome, and like I said, dude is a really really nice guy. We've had him on the podcast. He's awesome. He's a talented artist, and I mean
he is this close to that breakout where he's going to hit something, and then he's going to be huge because he's that talented.
Yeah, but I mean just the type of person that he is. I've had he's gave me a bunch of like the OA templates and all that stuff. And, so like I got issue 132 template of his that he just gave it to me. I mean, just straight up gave it to me.
Nice.
So
yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yep.
Yeah, we just saw a couple artists Johnny D. Jardinus. I have such a hard time saying his last name, but he was just out here. He's a really, really cool one from Canada. I didn't realize he had done some work on like Marvel's Ultimates and all that. Then we got to talk to him. I'm a huge fan of his stuff, and Hugh Rookwood would be another cool one if you guys get someone else out.
Yeah.
So just suggestions to throw out there. But like your current cast and lineup, like Freddie Williams II. Wow, that's a draw unto itself. The crossover king.
Yeah. Yeah,
second year.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean,
that one's probably the best. One of my for this year. That's probably my personal favorite. That's coming. Trying to get a hold of Santaluco's art or a commission from him, other than Cadence, is pretty tough. So luckily, we were able to do some pre-con opportunities, and get him up here from Brazil. So I'm most excited about that one.
Yeah.
That's crazy too. I mean, we talked about like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could have him on the show? But it's a lot of talking. I'm not sure how it would go or anything. Like, I threw it out there one time. I'm like, oh, let's try to get Gabriel Delotto, and I'm like, he probably wouldn't want to do an English talking show anyway. So sometimes it just happens that way. But art is universal. It's like you may not be able to speak it, but you can show it. And I mean, he had probably the longest run on the book too. The IDW Turtles. I think Santaluco had the longest one, because I remember picking up issue 44 and oh my god, and then he's still going through 50, and that's just a really really good long run that he's had on this. So, and are you guys like big fans of the Turtles yourselves? Like, do you have like favorite stories or anything along those lines?
I don't know, Randy. Do you like the Turtles?
I like the Turtles.
Yeah. I kind of knew the answer. I was like leading the witness.
Yeah. No, I'm a big turtle guy. Always have been.
Who's your guy? Who's your favorite?
Donnie, hands down.
Nice. Okay.
All day long. And then
I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, you know me by now. Pretty much. Yeah, Donnie, big Slash guy. Love Hob from the IDW line.
I do love Hob.
Yeah, Metalhead's always been a big favorite. So
I like Metalhead too.
Just here for it all. And just
How about you, Chris? Do you have a favorite turtle?
Donatello. I think
cool.
Is my favorite. Yeah, and I'm not copying Randy.
Suck up.
So
I'm a Leo guy, and Eric the Red is obviously Wrath.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Or it's all of them.
All of them together is great too. So
True.
Yep.
It's pretty fun. Our buddy Rob is a big Casey guy, so he was just on our last episode talking about coming out to see you guys. I know he's excited. I know you're gonna have a Bish Kid Club reunion, I'm guessing, because that's kind of like prime area, isn't it?
We've made it the unofficial, pretty much the meetup spot for it. We've been coming since 19, I think. They've been coming since I've been coming before that, but they've been coming since 19 as a group.
Yeah.
And it just kind of happened that way. We were going to do a different one. COVID happened, and then this is it.
Yep.
It's easy because Ben's up here too, and we can harass him.
Yep.
Yeah. Now you can go to his house. It's like Congrats in the house, Ben. You know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So do you do any sort of like special dinner for the guests, anything like that, or is it all on their own? Like, do you have like everybody gets together and you're like, hey, Doug Jones and Judith Hogue are having dinner, you know?
I think everybody kind of goes on their own thing. You know, it depends, like, because a few of them, like, they all know each other, so it's their time to kind of get together, you know, and I don't want to get in the way of that and be like, hey, you have to come meet with these people. But like, yeah. So, because I know, like, I think, I know when he's up here, Kevin's going to be getting together with Ralph from Jetpack Comics, because Ralph, I think, bought like a case of the Turtles when it came out, and he was the first one to get them to do a signing. I think he ran the. I think, if I remember correctly, he ran the Portsmouth show.
I was gonna say he's the one who sold the first set. Didn't they come out of his shop?
Yeah. Back in the day before it was.
Yeah, he's on the documentary too. The Turtle Power.
Yep. So. And it's got family up here, so I don't want to be like, hey, you come out with us.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't mean would it be a requirement? Yeah, it's like it's in the contract. It says here that you got to talk to 6 of my friends on the phone.
But we take care of everybody. So yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And also help strange riders. Like, is there anything you have to get them? Like, like a bowl full of like brown M&Ms or something?
No. Everybody's been really cool. We have a green room, and they all seem to enjoy that. And we try to take good care of people. Like I said, my business partner, he travels to a lot of shows, so he knows what makes a good green room and what's comfortable. And so like he'll text me like, hey, I was at this show and they had a warm case of water and Firehouse subs, and it's like, oh man,
Eric's met him.
Yeah, okay.
Eric's met Brett before.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I met him at
those all closed down out here.
Yeah, so we put together a good spread to take care of everybody.
Nice. Like, hot sushi, that's new. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Is there any sort of local delicacies that they're looking for? They'd be like, oh, New Hampshire, like we can get Macallan apples here, but you can't get them out west. Like, is there anything that you guys get special and be like, hey, this is a New Hampshire specialty?
Well, we're not too far off from the seacoast, so you can get seafood.
Oh, seafood. That's
some real good lobster rolls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of good restaurants in the downtown area, so that's one thing where I've been to these places millions of times, but then people come on from out of town like, the cuisine here is great, and be like, okay, yeah,
this is just right for us.
Yeah.
Do local businesses love you guys? Or is it like San Diego where they're like, these people again? Yeah.
So as someone who used to work downtown in the restaurants for a long time, we loved it. Mm-hmm. It was busy. It kept people coming in, and generally speaking, pretty much everybody that would come from the con back when I worked in the restaurants were super nice. They were super respectful. So from what and it brings a lot of business in downtown. So it's.
I would have to imagine. And if you're filling up a full hotel, I mean, that's huge. Mm-hmm. And then you get the other hotels in the area. They're like, hey, this is great.
Yeah. We've got I think 4 or 5 hotels working with us this year. And last year what we did, because it was the year after COVID really hit the businesses downtown really hard, we decided to skip doing our annual after party. And we just said, usually we do a big party. This year, everybody go out and hit the bars and restaurants and support, the local businesses. And it was the downtown was just hopping with people. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's great. That's so great. Yeah. What about transportation to and from the show, anything like that? Is it do you have any buses or anything like that get people in? Or is it just easy enough to get in with parking? I haven't been to the venue, so I couldn't say. So I just figured I'd ask. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's pretty easy to get into the venue. I mean, the hotel and the convention center are in the same space. And then there's a parking garage, and then there's parking garages within walking distance, so it's not too bad. We'll see what happens, but yeah,
a lot of on-street parking too for the people who are local.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, the exclusives sound cool. Like I kind of wanted to get my hands on one of those now. So
a guy.
Yeah, you know a guy. So.
Randy will hook you up.
Yeah. Thanks.
There we go.
Had to do that one, huh?
Yep. Randy's email address is.
Hold on.
6753. No.
Yeah. Anybody who wants an exclusive, just write to me.
Now, I have a question about you guys. Like going back, maybe you can remember this. Mm-hmm. What was your first con experience, if you can remember? Like, what was the con, and you know, maybe how old were you? Like, what did you look for when you went there?
So my first memory is back in, like, I want to say it was 88. And I'm sorry, I want to say it was like 89 or 90. So like right around like the Tim Burton Batman. And there was a mall that had a movie theater in it, and they had just at one point they had just comic book vendors throughout the mall, like up and down the middle of it. So like just going to shop for comics and stuff, that was really cool. And that's how we kind of got our start, because at the time when we started the show, there were no comic book shows in the area. So we're like, you know, we had just opened our business in 2002, and we're like, hey, we don't have enough to do. Let's do a comic book show. So and then we just kind of grew organically over
20 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Randy? What was your first?
My first comic show was actually Granite. And I didn't do much. It was the first time I'd ever been to one. And what it was all the people in cosplay that were around the area. And I was just like, what is going on? Mm-hmm. And I think it was only like $5 at the time, or $10 for the day pass. Mm-hmm. Went in, walked around. I think I bought a couple comics because I was reading comics at the time still. And yeah, then got hooked. Yep. Here I am. Fast forward 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Eric? What was your first comic show?
Well, it was actually in Dayton, Ohio. It was probably about 7-8 years ago. And the first time I actually met Kevin, and I remember because me and my wife, we were just dating at the time, and we were living at her aunt and uncle's house, and her aunt said something about like, well, Turtle Mania is coming to Dayton. And I was like, I didn't know nothing about it, but my wife was like, go hide that paper. And she was like, no, let me see it. And then we end up, she ended up telling me, got me a couple comic books so that way I can get signed by Kevin Eastman. And, that was the first time I got to meet Kevin Eastman. And don't get me wrong, I kind of fangirled out a little bit. So, I mean, it was definitely an awesome experience. And I mean, it was different for me because I've never been to a Comic Con or anything. Because I was in the military and traveling around doing college and all this other stuff. I had other things going on, but that one right there was probably my best Comic Con. It was small. I got to talk to Kevin and Courtney for a while, and it was just that it was awesome just to meet Eastman the first time, at my first Comic Con.
Yeah,
that's great. Mine was kind of recent, like maybe like within the past 10 years, because I'm from Connecticut. We had like shows that were in gyms and things like that at like the school. So you'd go and be like, oh, cool, the Carl Yastrzemski card with the big sideburns or something that you'd be like looking for. But when I got to do this one in Hartford, Connecticut, and my favorite memory of this is it's really cool. Like we were sitting working a table right across from the Soup Nazi and Giancarlo Esposito and the entire cast of like Spartacus. It's like, okay, this is cool. That's all fun. Michael Dooney was there. I got to meet him. That was great. But I got to meet Tim Sale, and I didn't just get to meet Tim Sale. I got to talk to him for like 2 hours. And the coolest thing is that he actually let me go get him something to drink. And for like just like a random person that was just there is like, oh, wow, cool. So I actually got Tim Sale a Mountain Dew. So
he's a very trusting man. Yep. He was a very trusting man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, was he?
Apparently.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this was a long time ago, and so it was just cool because like the heroes like Reborn and all that had not come back out. Like it was like well before all that stuff happened, but like it was cool. Like, and I just talked to him about like how he drew Scarecrow for like 2 hours. And I'm like, this is neat. I'm like, you're not sick of me yet. I'll just stick here. He's like, oh, cool, no problem. We'll talk. So it was just such a cool experience, and I hope other people get that when, obviously not for 2 hours if someone's busy, but I just hope that other people get to have those same experiences, and that's why I love these shows so much, because now you're going to get to go and you get to see people and you get to find out like what was the inspiration behind this, or ask them their burning question about like why they drew Batman this way. And that's the exciting part about this. So, but don't be weird. You know, I mean, anyone listening, don't be weird. You know? My kids don't like it because I asked some funny questions this weekend. They were just kind of walking by, and they're fans of My Little Pony, and we happened to walk by the IDW writer for My Little Pony. So I'm like asking him weird like pony questions and all that. My kids are like, Dad, and he's like just like spouting off answers. I'm like, what kind of apples they like? And he's like, oh, they like Macintosh apples. I'm like, okay, well, how come they don't wear horseshoes? You know, and stuff like that. Just like going back and forth. And my kids were just like, oh my God, yeah. It's fun, you know, like that sort of dad part.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
You don't know? Okay, well, you know, it's fun to embarrass your kids in front of people.
It is. It's the best.
Yeah, I like
you post about it quite frequently.
I do.
One day, Randy. One day, right?
See, Chris, you know exactly what it's like then. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone that your kids are excited to see, Chris? Or will they even be coming? I don't know how old they are. So
I've got 2 teenagers.
Okay.
So my oldest is more interested in working the con, so which is good.
Nice.
So yeah, so he's big enough. So
that's awesome, actually.
I don't think he's got any like, you know, oh, I gotta meet so and so. They'll be like, oh, this is what happened. This is cool. I mean, I think it'll be neat to meet Greg Sipes, because you know they grew up on Teen Titans Go, which is a show I love too. So yeah,
the original Teen Titan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it
was great.
He played Garfield on that too. So I mean,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. That is true, and that was so good. And I even remember the movie In Tokyo, which was a good one. So that's cool. So what kind of stuff can a teenager do? Is he going to be like leading the talent around, or what are you going to have him do?
He'll probably help us like taking tickets and putting on wristbands and stuff like that, answering questions. So
that's awesome. Man, that would make me feel like $1 million if my kids could do something like that.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah. My daughter likes to just come in and check out everything. You know, like do some shopping. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Does this coincide? Like, do you get like a lot of vendors with like vintage toys and stuff like that too? Like, what's the vibe for the show?
There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite ones last year was the I don't know if you remember them. There was a father and son duo that was like when you walked in, go down the main aisle, they were right there, and they built these little Legos, and they were it was one character, and they had the backing of it, and it was cool. It was something they did, but they had hundreds of them, and they were cheap, but they were cool.
That's really cool.
That was one of my favorite things.
Homemade.
Yeah, they had like they would, you know, kit bash whatever they needed to make that one, and then it had some, you know, image behind it in this little case. I have like 6 or 7 of them at home. Like they're I'd like stuff like that. There's a lot of cool stuff.
So you can see all kinds of stuff. There's comics, plushies, Funko Pops. You know, it runs the gamut.
Some people have hot toys. A lot of slabs, a lot of books, raw books. A lot of artists.
Yeah, that's important.
Even though we've gotten into like the pop culture stuff, like we still want to keep our roots in comics.
So it's mainly comics. It sounds like, which is cool, because that's the reason I would go, because I like to buy comics. I like to have comics signed and talk to comic creators and all that. So sometimes you show up and it's like, oh, this is literally like 100 places selling the exact same anime statue. And you're like, and it's so funny because you wouldn't think that, and then it's like, yeah, they're all selling the same stuff, you know.
It's all the new stuff. Like one of the cool things, like I was talking to a couple of guys in the group the other day, for Turtle fans, someone else who's going, he's got himself a table and he's going, Aaron Hazuri.
Wow.
Well known in the community.
Wow.
He got himself a table. He's coming out, so he'll be there. So yeah, things like the show's
original commission up here.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. That's a good one to drop on us at this show, because Aaron's awesome. Like he did our friend Brian Van Hooker's podcast logo. So you know, shout out to Brian.
Nice.
I did that podcast with Brian. Nice. Brian's a good dude.
Yep. Yeah. He just did this whole article on the history of the Last Ronin. It's great. So, yeah, and he's man, he was probably like, if Townsend was on my 8th episode, he's on the 9th or something like that. We were talking about like the intergalactic wrestling issue, so something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And is there? So we talked about exclusives. We talked about your guys' personal experiences and all that. And I guess we talked about the future a little bit, but it wouldn't be a Turtles podcast unless we talked about the food. Are you going to have pizza at the con? Are you going to have, what kind of food do you have there?
Probably. Yeah.
We should.
Yeah. There'll probably be some pizza there. Yeah.
Oh, that's totally appropriate.
There's a lot of pizza places that are right around there.
Yeah.
A lot.
So is there something specific to New Hampshire style pizza? Because I'm from New England myself, so I could tell you Connecticut pizza, best pizza in the world. So, some people say New York, but I'm like, trust me, it's like that, but it's made with better water. So,
I agree. I agree with Justin.
Yeah.
Best pizza I've ever had was at Bar in it's a place called Bar, and it's in Connecticut. My buddy's gonna kill
Is that
me.
New Haven?
I think yes. It's right.
Okay.
It's right across the street from the place that had the first cheeseburger or hamburger.
I know that.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You ever had mashed potatoes on pizza?
No.
It was delicious.
Was it? Okay.
It was delicious.
Okay.
Do they?
What kind of gravy was
fry
it?
them up or?
Huh?
Was there gravy? Was there gravy on it?
Nope.
They gotta like char the top, right? So it's like one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, yeah, that's
It
good.
was good.
I've had that. I have had that. That's quite good. Yeah, they get a little creative with it, but so nothing specific to New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
No. It's New England. Yeah.
Elios is good.
Yeah. Well, New England is funny too because wherever you go, there's like a weird sort of regional thing. Like when you go north a little bit, you're like, "What are you drinking?" They're like, "Coffee milk." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like that's
Do
something.
you have anything like that?
No,
You guys aren't drinking Moxie or
No, not down here.
he's drinking Moxie.
I like Moxie.
Yeah.
I like.
There's always one.
Guilty.
Like 1 out of 100 likes Moxie, and you're like,
That's how you know who the psychopath is.
yeah. Well, it's all this like regional stuff, and like Turtles is such a regional book, but there's like all these regional New England things that you know too, like being in the area.
Oh, fluff.
Oh
Monkey
yeah,
Mouse Fluff.
Fluff and
That's
Nutters,
a New
man.
England thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Fluff is made out of based out in Mass. Yeah.
I can't get that out here. It pisses me off. Like the only one I can get is like the Jet Puff, and it's like half the size and twice the cost. I'm like, come on, I need a Fluff and Nutter.
Yeah.
It's not
We
the
don't-
same.
Yeah.
We don't have the good peanut butter out here either, so it sucks. I move out of Connecticut to Illinois, and it's like I can't get my Red Sox games, and I can't get my Fluff. Like what the heck? So yeah, it's crazy. So, but surprisingly, there's more cons out this way than there were in Connecticut. So
Yeah, the East Coast doesn't really have a lot of big like events. I feel like they have a couple, but they're more south, other than New York. Rhode Island's decent size. Baltimore's decent size. But I think you guys will be up there quite sooner than.
Some interesting plans. We'll hopefully have some announcements after the con this year of what's happening next year. So
do you go to other cons? I know you said your business partner does, but do you guys like set up too at other cons?
we have. We didn't last year. It's been a while since we've set up, but
it sounds like you got pretty big. So.
I was at Rhode Island for them this past year. So
that's cool. Yeah, that's usually I didn't even think about that, but that's a pretty big con too. But that seems to be a lot more movie centric and like pop culture horror at this point. So not as comic-y, but it's like, oh cool, we've got the guy that played Pinhead and Jason Momoa or something. So like all those exactly.
Yep.
He's just on my head because I pulled his autograph out of like a random autograph pull. I was like, oh wow,
that's
cool. Yeah. It's like $20. I'm like, all right, awesome. It's fun. Like just some of the weird stuff that you see. It's like going to the carnival and eating carnival food. You go to the Comic Con, you have your own traditions. Yeah,
for sure.
Yep,
for sure.
Now, Eric, I know didn't you have a question for them about I forget what you were going to ask them about. I said it to me earlier too. I'm sorry.
No, but I was wondering. I mean, like, what other get? I mean, is there a special guest that you guys are bringing out or anything like that? Is there any other guests that you guys haven't announced yet? Maybe.
Yes.
I mean,
what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Here's the place.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, that's fine. If you don't, I understand. But I mean, I just didn't know if you guys had any guests, like any other guests that you guys haven't announced yet, because I know there's always more guests, like
there's always
just pop out of the blue. It's like last minute or something.
Yeah.
So
we might have a few more comic people to add to the mix. And, maybe a few more people that will be of interest to.
Any turtle?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah. Might become even a bigger deal than it was
5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, big announcement coming on Wednesday this week. So
Wednesday. Okay, so that'd be something to look out on Wednesday.
I will preface it by saying it's not Peter. So
no, you.
Because whenever we say that, people are like, "Is it Peter?" Because that's the number one question we got. Like when.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like, is Peter coming? And we're like, we're trying. Is
it someone with a last name Green?
Green?
Green? Yeah, turtles related.
Yeah.
First name rhymes with Seth? No.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there because to me that would be like sweet.
I will say this: it was not for lack of effort on all of our behalfs.
Yeah.
I know I probably exhausted the only two connections I had to come close, and we couldn't do it.
Yeah,
this year that I know of.
Can you talk about like the guys that you tried to get? Like can you tell me it's like, yeah, I tried to get Corey Feldman, but like turns out he was like eating grapes that weekend, and he said no.
A lot of it would be for me at least. I don't know about you on your end. For the people that couldn't, it was a lot. It was either they had just conflicting schedules, or they weren't doing shows or appearances. Period that year. There wasn't any ridiculous requests on my end at least, or anything outrageous, but it was pretty fairly simple declines on my side. I don't know about what you guys went through.
Yeah, there's a few guests that we have in the pipeline that were like, yeah, we'll do your show, and then they looked at their schedule and it was either like they're filming or they have a con, or maybe they're doing another con in New England, so they don't want to do back to back.
Oh,
yeah. So we'll see them. We'll see them next year. So hopefully they'll be locked in and ready to announce before the end of the year. So
that's cool. Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing they can do about like filming and all that because they don't set that schedule. So is that ever trouble like for getting out of contracts and stuff like that with filming, or is that always baked in?
No, it hasn't been too bad.
I was always curious about that because you never know what's going to happen. So
yeah,
they're
like,
nice.
Yeah, we're going to have Lance Hendrickson, but he got a job. What? Okay, cool.
Good for them. They didn't usually, usually they'll try to rebook. We've
Coy.
Yeah, we've had Julian Glover, who was in Empire and Indiana Jones and Last Crusade and Game of Thrones and like a million other things. He was supposed to come in 2020, obviously canceled because of COVID. Then last year he couldn't get here because of travel restrictions from England. So this year he's finally coming. So like usually everybody's pretty good about like if something happens, they'll be like, oh, we'll definitely come back next year.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome.
Yep.
Man, you guys just you keep throwing those hits out there. It's awesome. It's gonna be a hell of a show. I'm super excited for you.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be even bigger the next couple of years. I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
This is how it starts, man.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. One of my dream things, and as well as my wife, I just seen it in New Jersey that they had a DunderCon. I don't know if you guys are Office fans.
No,
yeah, they had.
Yep.
Can you see me shaking my head now?
So I'm a big Office fan. Me and my wife, we went to Scranton. We did the traveling of all the different restaurants and places and the eighth wonder of the world. And, I didn't know if that would be something in the future, maybe this year or next couple of years, that you would possibly get some of the people from The Office to come up.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's. I would like to see Michael Scott in person.
Oh man, can you imagine?
Steve Carell would be great.
Then you book it, looking at Michael Scott,
Rainn Wilson,
Ricky Gervais, and you're like,
Rainn Wilson. Cool, I would love to meet Rainn Wilson. The White Fruit, love it.
He's done a voice for Turtles, man.
Who was he?
I don't remember at the moment, but yeah, he was on the 2012 series. So and
there's a connection there.
And
there's a connection there.
Adventure Time, he's done everything. Galaxy Quest. There's so many more reasons other than The Office to like him. Yeah.
Yep.
I just don't get it. I'm sorry. It's like Dilbert cartoons. I don't get it.
Yeah. Eric, I'm with you.
You're with
an Office guy?
Yeah, I like The Office. Yeah.
My better half.
I've seen him all multiple times. So.
Oh wow.
The Office? Oh, me and my wife, we have watched every single season probably about 5 times. I mean, we watched the whole season about 5 or 6 times, even after Michael leaves. So I mean, that's just me. My wife's got a little shrine of Office stuff, and I have my huge shrine of Turtle stuff. So
yeah. So what we try to do is, obviously we got the Turtle stuff, but we try to find stuff for people that aren't necessarily into the Turtles. Those weirdos that aren't into the Turtles.
What's their problem?
Yeah. But like
is wrestling big for you guys? Like, do you get a lot of wrestlers besides because Mick Foley's pretty huge?
Yeah,
so
that's a big.
Oddly enough, we've only had over 20 years only 2 wrestlers.
Really? Wow, that is odd. Seeing as how a lot of them live local.
Yeah. I think besides Mick, it was just Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh wow!
He's one of my favorites. That's so awesome. Like it was like when I got a contact, I was like, hell yeah! So he sent a mini 2x4 for me, and that was awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool. So.
Lord.
Yeah,
it's weird because New England is a big wrestling haven. So
usually I used to work at a bank in Waterbury, Connecticut, and we'd be like, "Yeah, there's Just Incredible walking around. Like there's Crash Holly walking around.
Triple H used to live 10 minutes from where the con is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yep, he's from here, but
right in Bedford.
Yep.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. So I mean, this is gonna be a hell of a good time. What's what can people do now? Like, are tickets sold out? Can people still get tickets? Do we buy them at the door? Like, what's the best way for people to get in on this?
So you can buy tickets online. You can buy at the door, but you're risking, waiting in line to get processed because there's 2 separate lines. If you got tickets, you can jump right in line. We try to get you right in. If you're buying tickets day of, you might have to wait a little bit longer. And also, I think this year we're going to have some capacity issues. So,
it sounds like it.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So what's interesting is we have a large space where we have vendors and artists and all kinds of stuff, and that room has filled up. So we've got a secondary room that's filled up as well. So in the past, that secondary room is where we had, that's a good 25,000 square feet. It's where we had like our costume groups and our kids con and, all kinds of, just extra stuff. And this year that room is filled with Turtle stuff. And then we just had to find space, like, hey, what if we put the Star Wars group in this concourse this year? Okay, that works good. Where can we move this group? Where can we do this? Where can we do Kids Con? So it's going to be wall to wall.
Can we put them at the end of the hallway?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep pushing the Star Wars guys out and the Star Trek guys, you go over here.
It's the 501st.
Yeah, we have the 501st, and this year there's a Mandalorian group.
Nice.
That's getting
together. Are you going to get Dominic Pace in?
I don't think so.
Gecko the Bounty Hunter, if you're a Star Wars fan. So he's awesome. I know he comes through the area every once in a while on tour. So
just keep an eye out.
I have not known that.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about it coming, grab your tickets online. It's only going to benefit you. And then
your hotels now. Get your hotels now.
And we've got a lot of different options. The main hotel where we're at, that room block is sold out, so you're looking at like $300 plus a night.
It's $305 a night.
But there's lots of different options. There's an Airbnb nearby. There's a La Quinta hotel. So there's like hotels for every budget.
Yeah, there's. I think the cheapest one I saw was like $90, $100. So
I mean that's great. And what's the local airport for you guys for people to fly in?
We have 2.
Yeah.
We have the Manchester airport and then the Manchester Boston airport is what they call it, and then Logan. Right? Yeah.
Oh, Logan makes sense. Yeah, obviously. So and you guys are what, like less than 2 hours from Logan?
Hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
At max.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. And what about prices? Is there like an elite or like a VIP or anything else like that versus like a regular?
Yep. So tickets for Friday and Sunday are like $20 for the day. Saturday is $25, and then let me grab the rest. But there is a VIP package and the weekend package. I just don't have that info in my head right now. Sorry.
He wasn't ready. He
He asked you.
Yes.
I mean, look, he's batting everything back like Andre Agassi here. I mean, I've dropped the ball 3 times. He's still at it. So
I was like $60 for the weekend or $75.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like those are great prices.
So we try to keep it affordable. Like if you were to buy, I think it's like $55 or $60 for the weekend. It's not working.
It's not
right now.
It's not much.
Yeah, we try to keep it affordable, especially for since we're a smaller con. We want families and whatnot to be able to come. And if you're charging $50 a day, okay. So the VIP pass for the weekend is $125, and the weekend is $55. So. Okay. Yeah, and I don't think we've raised our prices in like years. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
VIP. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
No, I was just saying that was awesome. Go ahead with your VIP. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. What do the VIP folks get? Like, do they get to go into the green room? Like, what's the deal?
So you get all 3. You get admission all 3 days. You get in a half hour early. You get to the after party on Saturday and a limited edition print.
Nice.
So yes,
and a goodie bag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And an attaboy. Yeah.
And an attaboy?
Yeah. Attaboy. Yeah.
A POB?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's the website, and where's the information where people can follow you guys, and where can they find you?
It's granitecon.com. And we're on all the socials. Well, I say all the socials, but I keep forgetting there's like TikTok and all that other stuff. But
I don't know. TikTok.
Yeah. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We have a TikTok. We haven't used it yet, but because we're old.
I'm with you. I wouldn't.
Yes,
I wouldn't know.
One?
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things my 13-year-old may be helping out with this year is just be like, go out there and make some TikToks. So yeah.
That's fantastic. So I'm hoping that we can educate some folks and get them out to you, because that's awesome. Like everything. Man, I would have been on there getting in a half hour early just to get through those lines and all that. Oh, what a benefit.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to be working it, so I know the people who are there for VIP are not going to be coming over to my table beforehand, so you will probably see me in a line right away. Just
nice.
Out of the way and done.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and that you're facilitating some of those commissions though too, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to pop around to some of the artists as well. So like Santaluco did one, Ciro did one, drawing a blank. Aaron did one, but you've seen a lot of the ones that he did for that. He got them all done early. Some of the ones Santaluco's been sharing, I don't know if you've seen those, like the April or the Dark Leo and Shredder. Those are 2 examples of the pre-cons that he did.
Oh, nice. No, actually, I hadn't seen that. So.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful.
Oh, I will probably post a link to those in the show notes as well. So that's awesome. And I mean, obviously, tell Judith Hogue we said hi. I mean, like, right?
Epic Shell says what's up.
I'd be like, hey, So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for you. So Eric, do you have anything that you want to ask or anything before we let him go?
No, I just need to get my butt up there. That's all I need to do. I really do. I want to do it this year, but I kind of want to hold off on the 40th anniversary, but maybe next year.
You want to wait 2 years to go? Come on.
Not really.
I'm
still debating going up there to this.
I'm going next year. Like without.
Let's put it this way: on Wednesday, you will buy your ticket. When you see their announcement, you will buy your ticket.
So when you see the announcement, that is like 2 days from now, Wednesday.
This Wednesday,
yes, this Wednesday. Yeah.
Eric, I got to commit to you right now that I'm going to buy my tickets too.
Telling you,
are you going to look? That's something that me and you got to talk about.
Oh, okay, actually, let's hold on because we may want to get a table. Let's hold on. Okay, all right. Sick, nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. With that, I want to thank you both for being here. Is there any social media or anything that you want us to follow besides what you've mentioned?
No, those are the big ones. So,
all right. Shout outs to anyone. Anything you'd like to say? Cowabunga? No, it's
Cowabunga. Shout out to Brett Parker. Yeah. He was dropped. His name was dropped in here. Shout out to Brett Parker.
All right, we'll be right back on the Epic Tales from the Sewers podcast with your pizza recipe for the day. Thank you so much, guys, for being here.
All right, thanks for having me.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.